we go, recording in progress. So we are here from the UK AI Research Resource, acronym spelling AIR. We are currently two universities in the UK, University of Bristol and University of Cambridge, who are giving funds by the government to try and provide GPU resource for research and innovation in the UK for AI, machine learning technologies like that, to make sure we could stay as a country competitive with the world and make sure all the research we want to do is being supported. So we at the University of Bristol have set up the Bristol Centre for Supercomputing. That's the institute that I work at. And we have, if we go to next slide. Next slide. Perfect, that's the one. We have Isambard AI at the University of Bristol. That's our supercomputer that we are providing access to. And at the University of Cambridge, they have the Dawn supercomputer. So those two computers together form the UK AI research resource. We are hoping that the government is going to continue investing in resources like this and other DRIs and finding ways to bring them all together to provide combined access for UK academia and industry into the future. Got a couple of small calls to action. First one, come and visit our stall. Come by, say hello. We've got some swag, posters, flyers, pens, other things. If you come by, there might be some treats there. We have some workshops on this afternoon. Registration for these workshops has closed, but if you'd like to come along to the Dawn workshop and you haven't signed up, there might be space for you to come along and attend, although you won't get access to the actual computer. If you've missed signing up for the Isambard workshop, if you come by our stall, we might be able to get you signed up for an account last minute. Can't promise anything, but failing that, there's space in the room. You're welcome to come along and see what it's all about. And finally, for access to these AI research resources, there's two main routes. There's the rapid access route, which is primarily for small and medium industry, so for companies to get access to it, and the gateway route, which is for academia and so on. So that QR code will give you access to the relatively simple and easy call to get access to Isambard AI and or Dawn. Thank you very much.
Next, I would like to call Dr. Ryan from Microsoft.
Hello, everybody. Really nice to be here sponsoring RSECon again this year. There we go, perfect. So please do come along to have a bit of a chat with us down at our stand near the food, which is always helpful. We're here to kind of figure out how we can help you guys accessing the right resources based on Microsoft Azure, the public cloud service, which is available to everybody. So we work predominantly with central IT teams across many of the institutions that are represented in the room. And we would love to make the process of accessing cloud computing resources easier for you and easier to understand, but also easier to use and easier for the RSE community to templatize and be able to then share with the end users, the researchers who may not be as skilled as you all are in the room today. So if you have particular challenges with research projects you're working on at the moment, things that you see coming up on the horizon, where you think that computational resource could be a challenge, or particular services or access to large language models, for example, all of these sorts of things, feel free to come by, let us know what you're working on, and we may be able to help and discuss with you, working together with you alongside your university. Microsoft are also here sponsoring alongside one of our partners today, Methods, and Nicola will come and tell you a little bit more about them in just a moment. I will call out, there's a couple of things that we've got going on over the next couple of days. Nicola and I are presenting a walkthrough session for one of our platforms that sits on Azure to help make the process of using cloud easier. That's tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. And Nicola and I will also be running a short plenary session on the final day in the morning as well, talking about the role of RSEs related to cloud computing and what the future holds for cloud alongside national resources that you've just heard about. So thank you very much, and I look forward to talking to many of you over the next couple of days.
Next, I would like to call Dr. Nicola from Methods.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Ryan said a lot of what I would like to say, so thank you, Ryan. I'm not a software engineer, but I am an ex-academic, and my role here is I'm really interested in the impact that technology can have on research and how we can progress research through harnessing technologies. We know there are barriers to adopting some some of the technologies. Like, knowing a software language, for example, that can be quite terrifying for some researchers that don't have that background. But what can we do to make that more accessible? What can we do to make it more inclusive? What can we do to open up those opportunities and sort of show people that wouldn't ordinarily be accessing the cloud what it might be able to do for their research? So I'd love to talk to you at some point over the next few days about what your research is or what you do in your role, the challenges that you have, what you wish could be the case for what you do. And as Ryan said, we're going to show you a platform that we've got that kind of opens up that kind of access to cloud resources. And let's see how might it work for you? What would you change? And what problems would it help solve? So I'm looking forward to speaking to hopefully many of you over the next few days, and enjoy the rest of the conference.
I'd like to welcome Dr. Alessandro Popescu, who's flown all the way from Switzerland to sponsor us. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for the chance to be here with you together with my team. Nuvolus, yes, it's just the name here, no more slides than that. It's the data science operating system. This was a project we started when doing our own research. It's a solution for computational research where people like you who actually write the code to get the answers from the research question need to collaborate with scientists in order to ensure that these results are reproducible, that you can scale them, that you can subject them to peer review. So it's a cloud-based solution that works in the browser, allowing you to focus on your work instead of dealing with technical nuisances. It's intended to allow subject matter experts to do exactly this, go about their research and get results that are reproducible and replicable. It's something that we have it here. It's available for you to get it tested, to share with us your opinion. And we are here to learn from you what the pain points are, especially in computational research in the area where you are currently working on. As it was mentioned, it's a spin-off from a Swiss university, and it's the first time here for us, and we are very excited to be part of this great community and looking forward to become a member of it. I wish you all a great time, enjoy the conference, and we are looking forward to have you at our booth. Thank you.
Next is our silver sponsor, the Alan Turing Institute, and I'd like to welcome Dr. Isabel Fenton.
Hello, everybody. It's wonderful to be sponsoring again this year. We are the Alan Turing Institute, the National Institute for Data Science and AI. We work in 4 broad areas, so environment, sustainability, health, defense and national security, and fundamental research. And within that institute, we are the research engineering groups. There's about 40 of us. We're a mix of RSEs, data scientists, computing engineers, and data wranglers. I think about 15 of us are here this year, so you'll probably bump into us roundabout. Us and our colleagues are giving a set of talks. Here's the list. Hopefully see you at some of these. We also have a stand out on the first floor, so I think it's just out that doorway, where you can come and pick up stickers and play one of the games we developed in our Hack Week. If you want to find out more, if you come to the talk on Wednesday, How to Build a Project Team, we'll have a bit more detail about some of the research that we're doing. So hopefully see some of you there.
Next, I welcome Dr. Roy from Sheffield.
All right. Can I have my slide? Thank you. All right. So I'm not really going to sell you anything. But like probably 20 people from Sheffield this week, mainly from the RSC team and the data analytics service team. We're all working on similar projects, similar initiatives like the call for proposal, our big training program, code clinics, and this kind of stuff. So I just wanted to advertise all the things we are contributing to this week. So we have workshop from Rob and Pete, a few posters from Martin, Edwin, Tamara, Daniel, and a few talks. Sean, Matthew, and myself and Neil tomorrow. So we'll discuss what we are doing in Sheffield. And please come to our stall, and we have some cool merch. That's it. Thanks.
Next, we have 2I2C, and I welcome Jenny.
Hello, my name is Jenny and I'm an open source applications engineer at 2I2C. 2I2C stands for the International Interactive Computing Collaboration, and we're a global network of community hubs to enable the creation and sharing of knowledge. I want to start off by saying and highlighting what makes us a little bit different from other software as a service providers. So first of all, I want to say that we only use open source licenses that Amanda Brock mentioned in her keynote earlier. So we'll never ask contributors to our code and your technology for running this platform to give up their rights to their code. So avoiding bait and switch style changes to licenses. So like Anaconda, for example. So you can have confidence in us as a long-term service provider. We are committed to running services on open source tooling in a vendor agnostic way, so that you can take away your platform if you so wish, with our commitment to your right to replicate. So what do we offer? Thank you. So 2I2C helps end users by providing frictionless access to interactive computing platforms, software, environments, and tools to create and share knowledge. We also help domain leaders provide guidance to their community with cloud native workflows, helping to maximize impact and growing a healthy community. We also help administrators with monitoring resource usage, managing users, so that you know that costs are reliable and predictable. Our team are experts and leaders in the open source community, and we have wonderful and distinguished contributors to Project Jupyter, Jupyter Hub, Binder Hub, Jupyter Book, and many other open source projects. I, for one, believe that every engagement with us is a force multiplier for innovation in open source software, for nurturing open science, and for cultivating open collaboration and communities. So if you're interested to hear more, feel free to grab me for a chat at our stall, or my colleague Juliana sat over there. Our stall's a bit empty at the moment because the package didn't show up, so excuse our appearance. And my colleague Jim, who will be here tomorrow. Or if you feel like it, you can scan the QR code at the top corner. Hopefully it works with the thing in the corner, maybe not. But yeah, just drop by our stall and speak to you soon. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to welcome Chris from AWE.
Hi everyone, my name is Chris from AWE. So we are best known for supporting the UK's nuclear deterrent. That work is vital for the UK, but that's only part of the story. Behind the scenes, we're also home to one of the UK's most advanced scientific computing environments, where research software engineers are helping to solve the most complex simulation challenges in the country. Next slide, please. One of the key areas our RSCs focus on is developing high assurance safety critical software, multi-physics simulations, modeling everything from material behavior to fluid dynamics and radiation transport. So these tools allow us to explore complex systems without the need for testing. We also work at scale, working on optimizing software for some of the UK's most powerful supercomputers, ensuring it runs reliably, deterministically, and reproducibly. We apply rigorous testing and verification methods to ensure that our scientific software behaves predictably and safely. As our work spans numerous domains, including physics, material science, and numerical methods I mentioned earlier, we collaborate closely with lots of universities, industry, and government partners to push the boundaries of modelling and simulation science. So AWE, RSCs aren't just writing code, They're hoping to build digital foundations to underpin some of the UK's most ambitious scientific missions. I'm happy to be here supporting RSC CON25 and through the continued growth of the RSC profession and society. I believe it's a community that's helping to shape the future of research software. I'm pleased to be part of that journey. Thank you.
I'd like to welcome Dr. Andy Turner from EPCC.
Okay, so I think we've just got one slide with some words on. I'm not really going to talk to that. For those who maybe haven't come across EPCC, we're sort of a leading data science and high performance computing centre up at the University of Edinburgh. We were formed back in 1990. So I think we're sort of evidence, I guess, if this community needs it, that RSEs have the RSE and the RSE profession has a lot of longevity in it. So we've been around for just over 35 or around 35 years now. In terms of why we're here, why we're sponsoring the conference, this community has been so important to taking everything forward from seeing the expansion of RSEs from small group or from groups that were few and far between, like EPCC and others around the UK, to wide across every university and lots of different organisations in the UK. And I think we're super keen to have conversations with you all. You're all doing amazing and interesting work, and we've got a lot of experience as well. So if you want to talk to us, we're always happy to talk to people about collaboration and just give our advice on what we've done and hear what you've been doing, what you think is important, and maybe where we can help out. So please do come along, see us at the store. As a sort of more personal program, really interested in environmental sustainability, we have an exercise on the store where you can evaluate your carbon footprint for your sort of work as an RSE. You can take away with you and start to think about how to make changes to reduce the carbon footprint. So there's a big plug for that. But we also have some really good postcards as well, so you can send them to your friends and family and show that you were here while I can get a stamp from the local sorting office. Thank you very much.
Next, I'd like to welcome Dr. Simon Lee to represent DARE and HDR UK.
Hi everyone, I'm Simon Lee. I'm here on behalf of a very large number of projects funded by HDR UK and DARE UK. So HDR, Health Data Research UK, fund will support the use of health data with public benefit. And DARE UK support the creation and development of an infrastructure to support sensitive data. Sensitive data, things like medical records, local government data, crime statistics, demographic data, poverty levels, and so on. A lot of it's public data. If used correctly, it has the power to transform people's lives and also make better use of public resources. But as you can imagine, you have to be very careful in how it's handled. The project I work in is called Treevolution, and for example, that's actually developing open source tools and infrastructure to support the federated analysis of sensitive data. So a lot of the data is held in silos across the UK in different places. Can we safely and securely bring it together? That involves the use of things called trusted research environments, but also things like how can researchers publish their work if they use sensitive data? And also questions like, if you're working with AI, can you use AI safely and responsibly with sensitive data? Talking more generally, there's a massive need for research software engineers and research technical professionals in general. So we need to be able to work on, say, software development. We need to be able to, say, develop infrastructure to work with sensitive data. We need to actually run it and design it. We need people to relate with funders. We need people to work with researchers and actually doing the research. If we want people to, let's say, train researchers on how to, responsibly use sensitive data, and we need to train people to actually run this infrastructure in the first place. Along with that, we need to work with the public. So a lot of data, especially medical records, belong to the public. How do we maintain their trust? And as well as funding all these projects, the UK also helps build communities. So, for example, 3 years ago at RCCon, myself and a few other people here got together. We formed what is now called the UKT community. That's somebody currently received their funding. So, if you want to find out more, come along to DARE UK and HDR UK stand, come and talk to me. There's loads of other people here funded by HDR and DARE UK. Pick a sticker. There's a talk at 11:15 today by Jim Madge on how to basically use supercomputers to work with sensitive data. That's a really cool talk because it's looking into how can you use a shared computing facility for data which shouldn't be shared. And also there's, I think it's a stage track to us to come on to that. Thanks.
So I'd like to welcome Josh from Met Office.
Hi everyone, really good to be here at the conference this week. It's a real privilege to be one of the sponsors, and we're looking forward to talking with all of you about your work and our work at the Met Office as well. So I'm sure many of you know who the Met Office are, but if you don't, we are the UK government's weather forecasting service, as well as a climate research centre, both of which we are world leaders in. And to do that work, we must always be investing in new technologies. So we have programs looking at artificial intelligence and machine learning and seeing how we can use them in our science. But you may have also heard that we have a brand new supercomputer as well, which is now doing our forecasts. And to do all of those things, we obviously require software engineers with skill sets like yours. And we have many places that we use software engineers across the office. So we have them embedded in IT infrastructure to kind of help all of our the fundamentals of our science. We also have them embedded in research teams as well, so to help our scientists produce the data that they need, analyze it, and do so in a robust manner. And on a more kind of holistic level, so working with the Met Office is, in my opinion, a fantastic place to work. So we have plenty of opportunities for professional development. So you may have a specialism in software engineering, but if you want to upskill and look into, say, meteorology, there are courses available for those things, and you can kind of choose your pathways and move around the office as well. And we also have an extremely inclusive environment at the Met Office. So we have plenty of staff networks aimed at supporting people from all walks of life and giving everyone the support they need. So we're really hoping to see you at our stall this week, where you can ask us anything about working at the Met Office. So you can ask us about our work and maybe share some of your ideas as well and what you're working on. And we will also have some weather forecasting equipment on our table as well, so you can see how we get lots of our data from the field. We're also going to be running a few competitions. So we've got a few kind of guessing games. Today is the daily maximum temperature, so there are prizes available for that. And we're also running a quiz, which will run throughout the conference, kind of a Met Office themed one, and you can win prizes for that as well. And lastly, we have a small infrared camera as well. So if you want to get your picture in infrared and see or ask how that fits into our weather forecasting and our climate science, we're more than happy to talk to you about that as well. So I hope you have a great conference, and we look forward to speaking to you. Thanks.
Next, we have Dr. Russell Rundle from Oxford Computing Circuits.
Yeah, I'm Russell, OTC, Oxford Quantum Circuits. I'm here with my colleague Kaiser, and we'll tell you a bit about our company. So, well, I made a mistake trying to put a moving image on there. Imagine a really cool graphic of a moving QPU there. It's really beautiful. If you come over, I'll show it to you. So we're a full stack quantum computing company. Up to the left here is kind of the cool stuff that we do. We have engineers working on the actual hardware, and up the stack working on the cryogenics and control hardware. We have the compiler team, which me and Kaiser are part of, and then all the way up to our cloud service. I won't go into too much detail here, but these are basically things that we can answer questions on if you're curious about any of these things up here. We are also the first quantum computer in a commercial data center. We are in 3 data centers, 2 of them are commercial. And this, well, it's kind of fun. You know, data centers are quite old, and trying to get specific cooling requirements for a superconducting quantum computer with liquid nitrogen stuff in there is quite a fun challenge. But we did it, and we get the benefit of the secure data lines that you can see in data centers. It also allows us to provide our mission, which is putting quantum in the hands of humanity. That's a tagline I have to say. And so to give an example of this, I'll take first of the compute by layer, and that's our functions. So we are now working on a platform to use quantum functions as a service, which means you don't need to know anything about the gate level, pulse level control of a quantum computer. We're trying to abstract this as part of a data science pipeline, a machine learning pipeline, where you can do some cool quantum machine learning at the back end and not even know you're touching a quantum computer. So that's our real drive as a company, and something we're actively working on at the moment. That's pretty much all I have to say. So thanks for listening. We have swag. Come and see us.
Next, I'd like to welcome Dr. Kirsty Pringle from SSI.
Hello. Hello, yes, I'm here from the Software Sustainability Institute. So I'm really pleased to be sponsored this year. In fact, apparently we've sponsored every single conference so far, so exactly. And we do this because we recognise the huge importance of the conference and of the community for research software. It's kind of fundamental to what we do. Software Sustainability Institute was the first organisation in the world really dedicated to improving software and research. Been going for about 12, 13 years now, still going strong. We have a very simple fundamental motto of better software leads to better research. So you can see it's on our lovely t-shirts. There's quite a lot of SSI staff here today. We're mostly wearing these t-shirts. Do come along and talk to us. There's quite a lot of different things that we do. We try and kind of achieve change through a range of different strategies and different kind of interventions. We do a lot of training, a lot of software carpentries training, and also developing training. We have a policy team that looks at kind of how we can make policy changes to improve the recognition of people working in this field. Recently started working on some environmental impact work. So we have a Green Research Software Engineering Special Interest Group, which has a Birds of a Feather session tomorrow afternoon. So please come along to that if you're interested in how we as a community can come together to reduce the environmental impact of research software. We do a huge amount of community work as well in terms of helping communities form and supporting communities. So just a couple of things to kind of point out to you that's happening at the moment. So we have just recently launched the next round of our Fellows Programme. SSI Fellowship Programme has been going on for quite a long time now. It's really trying to train people to become ambassadors for good practice in research software. So it launched, I think, a couple of weeks ago, but it's open for applications at the moment. If you've got an idea, if you're interested in finding out more, do come along to our stall. We'll have people that can help talk you through the process, get some ideas and get some feedback on your ideas. There's also a lot of fellows around at the conference, so there's plenty of people to talk to if you're interested in that. We run the research software camps, which are very kind of open introductory training sessions for people that probably not people necessarily within this room, but people that are quite new to software. So if your colleagues are looking at kind of an introduction as to how software might be useful for research. So we do things like kind of beyond Excel, beyond the spreadsheet kind of introductory training to get people into the field. And then we also are involved in the Green Disc certification, which is helping groups to reduce the environmental impact of their work. So that's a kind of open source free certification scheme. If you're interested in that, then come along and talk to us at the stall. Thank you.
So I'd like to welcome Anna from Tokamak Energy.
Hello, I'm happy to be here today. And my name is Anna, and I will take you to a brief journey through Tokamak Energy mission to make commercially viable fusion energy a reality. Next slide, please. So Tokamak Energy is a world's leading private fusion energy companies. So over the past 16 years, we've secured 335 million in private investment. I think it's quite a strong vote of confidence in our vision and technology. So today we are a team over 260 extremely talented and valuable professionals with offices in United States, Japan, right here in the United Kingdom. So in Tokamak Energy, next slide, please. We are building fusion power device like ST40. ST40 is our own compact spherical tokamak. And it's like interesting. You might be wondering what's like working in private fusion industry. In one word, it's absolutely exciting because it's high risk, high reward environment where each private fusion company is pursuing its own way to solving a fusion puzzle, as we do with our ST40 device. But we believe that ST40 is one step towards commercially viable fusion energy. And next slide, please. So we believe that ST40 is not another scientific experiment. We believe that ST40 is fully integrated fusion infrastructure because alongside our device itself, we have a set of advanced diagnostics. We have a dedicated control room, and we have a number of our own digital products like GSFit, our tool for plasma reconstruction, Sophia, our Tokamak flight simulator. And we believe that altogether, it will help us to come up with a blueprint of the world's first of a kind fusion power plant. So this is us. Please come to see us, and we are more than happy to answer any questions you might have. And by the way, we have 3D model of Tokamak. It's extremely exciting. So please to see us. Thank you.
I'd like to welcome Dr. James from UCL Grand Challenge.
Hi everyone, so I'm James Hetherington. You might know me from running UCL ARC and helping to, along with lots of other people, to get RSE going. I'm here talking about something different today, but I hope highly connected. I'm also leading for UCL now on this this grand challenge that we defined around data empowered societies. So it feels to me like the work we've been doing over the course of our lifetimes in data and computers and software is having such a profound effect on the way we live as a society, with positive changes and some dangerous negative risks. And I sort of started to feel, this was while I was at the Turing really, that the set of people thinking about the technologies and those of us who are enthusiastic to build things, and the set of people with the understanding of what of how society works, the social scientists, the kind of going past each other, like, you know, when you get that kind of collaboration where people are genuinely collaborating, it's quite different from, hi, we'll have two work packages and I'll leave my work package and you leave your work package and we'll get a grant together, but we don't really cross-talk. What I want to try and do with this work is to actually get those communities properly integrated and working together on thinking about some of these questions. Excitingly, I'm co-provost provost for this with Professor Alison Littlejohn, who's a proper social scientist. So I'm the computer nerd, she's a social scientist. Why did I want to put some sponsorship money by RSECon for this? Because I think I want to get into the minds of all of us in this community, in this movement, how important a role engineers play in doing this well and safely. So if some of you may have seen my longer talk on this, but when we are building things to enable, you know, the use of simulation, the use of AI, the use of data science to make critical national decisions. You know, I was involved in the models that help decide which towns get locked down during COVID, right? That was terrifying. We are at the forefront of this change, and what we are doing as engineers, we need to be doing it really well versed in the technology, but thinking carefully about the social science aspects as well. I always say a little knowledge is a wonderful thing. Some people say a little knowledge is a dangerous thing. I don't agree. Try and be a little bit of a social scientist as well as a little bit of a computer scientist in all the things you're thinking about. There's more of a chance that we'll get through some of these transitions to society a little better.
Along from the coffee. Our last sponsors, UKRI. I'd like to welcome Dr. Jens Jensen.
Very much. Hi, I'm Jens. UKRI is UK Research and Innovation. We are a public sector body under DCID. We fund research, we support research, and we carry out research in the UK. So many of you will have grants, you will know our councils, EPSRC, BBSRC, all of these councils, STFC, the stand outside has STFC written on it in big friendly letters, but we're really here representing UKRI. So in particular, I want to talk about DRI, the digital research infrastructure. So it's really meant to span like a sort of central activity that spans all of the councils and all of their DRI initiatives. The idea is that much of the research we do today is very much multidisciplinary. So you need to connect data from different sources. Maybe you need climate data, you need sociological data. You need to model, like James mentioned, when you need to decide where to lock down and stuff, you need demographics and stuff. You need to bring data together from different sources, and you need to enable the work with the right resources. We heard about air from that. Where do you find the resources that can support your research? So the DRI program already supports existing activities in computational sciences, for example. We have a lot of material on this. We also have an initiative called Ascend, which is an opportunity for you to tell us what you need from DRI. To learn more about Ascend, talk to my colleague Santiago, who is waving up here. We will be at the stand outside, and come and talk to us and learn more about Ascend, how you can tell us what you need from DRI. Next slide, please. So generally, research, software engineering, we have a lot of computational scientists. And we heard in the first talk, when things come out with, so you need the Google build tools to build things and stuff, and that may not always be the best way to reuse software. So how do you get the best practices in? And we find that just embedding an RSE in a group of computational scientists can tighten up the delivery, the output, the software that comes out at the other side. And because we have a lot of computational activities, lots of sciences in STFC, where I'm from, but also obviously in the other councils, then we need to like improve the software so we can make it reusable as well, like building on the open source parts. Next slide, please. Also, I want to highlight that when other parts of the world perhaps clamp down on EDI activities, let's double down. Let's make sure that we support EDI in software engineering and really can build diverse, collaborative communities that are all the stronger for having diversity in RSE. So I'm very strongly in favor of this, and totally will call for us to double down on this. Next slide, please. So hands up if you've heard of ISO IEC JTC 1 SC22. One hand. Okay. Hands up if you've written a Python PEP. Oh, I see two hands. Yeah, cool. So this is really about software engineering where we tighten up stuff, but where do we stop? Like, what is the impact of what we do in the UK? So we heard about our many GitHub accounts in the UK. What is our contribution to the international community? So ISO IEC JTC 1 SC22 is the ISO committee for C++ and Fortran, where the standards come out. And this is really ideally where we should end up, like, so contributing to standards, to the evolution of languages. The same thing for the PEPs and Python. But meanwhile, we have all the bread and butter stuff of delivering improvements to our software infrastructure. And with that, I'm happy to talk to you outside. We're happy to sponsor it. I think we sponsored it every year as well. I'm not entirely sure, but come and talk to us. Thank you very much.
That was all the wonderful sponsors we have this year. And in case you haven't collected the bingo card that's here, which mentions all our sponsors too. So collect them, get them stamped, and hopefully we have a lucky winner.